Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Desk. My name is Chad. Amy's with me over there. And today we are going to be talking about our final countdown to Colombia. Hey,
Hola, mi amor.
welcome back
Welcome back.
to another episode of Beyond the Desk.
So, you give me so much shit over saying vehicle because I'm from the South.
Vehicle.
And here you go beyond the desk.
Yeah, I'm learning where the enunciations
Are
go.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got a pretty loaded docket for today.
Yeah?
Um,
What are we
so this is our
talking?
final countdown for
Yeah.
Colombia, but you got some news from the vet today.
Oh, thank God. Sadie's good to go.
So that's really like there's a lot of things we can control, and there's a lot of things that are
Right.
like, okay, we'll just deal with it. That was one where quite literally everything was dependent upon the clean
100%.
bill of
It could
health.
have stopped our whole trip.
Right.
Yeah. We would have had to have canceled
I mean,
everything.
like forgetting something, all the way down to even like our passport expiring, which doesn't happen. We're both more than
Right.
5 years left at ours, but even that is remediable. Sadie having something with her, that's just a hard stop.
I mean, that was 6 months of her going through, treatment. So
Yeah.
I was
So
very nervous.
great news today.
Yeah, that was really great. $500 later for
Yeah.
that big honkin' vet
For those 5
visit.
words.
Right.
But she's all set. You've got paperwork going for her for not only her exiting, going to another country, but also
Coming back.
coming back.
Yeah, I have to go take her back, I think, on the 4th of December for the international stamp of approval by a vet here in Michigan that can do that. Like,
Right.
not just any vet can give that
No,
stamp of approval.
it's actually few.
Very few, yeah.
Very few are.
Just so happens ours was one of them.
Yeah.
And he just did I don't know, gave the stamp to a family for their dog going to New Zealand, and he said that was really difficult. Like, New Zealand's requirements are crazy.
You went out of
So
focus.
Colombia's wasn't too bad.
You went out of focus a little bit. Hold on, let me see if I can fix
Did
it.
I?
Yeah, why are you out of focus?
I don't know.
You'll just have like this airbrushed look to you, I guess.
Great. Does it take out the fine lines and
Well,
the
you know what?
deep wrinkles?
This is what happens when you just send it live. I'm not really sure what the deal is, but we'll just run with it. Yeah. Okay. So on our agenda today, let's talk about. So we're in our final preparations, right?
Yeah.
And final preparations essentially mean when you're planning, which we've been. That whole board was filled with stuff, and now we're down to just the final months. Final month.
Month.
3 month stay.
Yeah.
And a 3 month stay, there's a lot of things to plan for. And anybody
Right.
who's been listening over the last while,
Year.
over the last while, knows that we've been learning as we go, but also trying to control what we can control and not overwhelm ourselves. And so we broke down 6 months worth of duties across 6 months
Yeah.
rather than figuring it out all at the end. And now we're down to final utilities, mail, banking. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right. One more final
Just
pack.
yeah, and just the last minute things like, I'll have to have my hair colored. Sadie has to have her vet visit. Um, any prescription, like, that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a sec.
Right. So we our plan is to stay in Sabaneta for 3 months. We have our Airbnb, and we also found another city
Mm-hmm.
that we're pretty interested in. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Um, so Sadie's all clear. Financial prep. Let's talk about that. So one of the things
I know that's something you're taking care of, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that we ran into was our cell phone provider in Colombia. Um, does not work internationally without requesting a specific international plan, which
Right.
means the bank in Colombia would we can't send the security verification codes because we don't have service in the United
Mm-hmm.
States, right? So bank to bank transfers, we couldn't do those.
And you've been working on this for months. Like you've just been trying. I've tried to get in contact with some people we know in Colombia and the Medellin for non jerks, that group of people on Facebook, and trying to get some kind of help around this. And what did you figure out?
Right. A lot of, I mean, literally
Yeah.
months. I mean, not months straight, but across months trying different things. And so what I ended up doing was I signed up for Wise, which we were following to know what the conversion rates were,
Yeah, yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
But we get an email every day and we look at it and we're like, oh my gosh, it's
Did you see it this
climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing.
yeah. Did
Like,
you see it today?
yeah, like 4330 or something.
That's the highest I've ever.
Yeah. So through Wise, because I have two identities,
Yes.
I'm able to establish sending money to a friend, family, or friend, kind of like how we do Zelle here.
Mm-hmm.
Sending money to a family or friend, but they handle the exchange, the
Mm-hmm.
currency exchange, as well as the deposit to the international bank. So I set up an account for my other identity, my Colombian identity. I set up an account for American identity, and I was able to, without any text message verification, I was able to send myself money bank to bank. For $100 transfer, it was like $4 in
That's
fees.
so cheap for a transfer fee.
That's super cheap because our bank to do bank to bank wanted $25,
Holy
regardless of the amount.
cow. So Wise is the way to go.
Why is from my experience, not only being able to handle it all well in the U.S.,
Yeah.
but also fee wise.
Right, right.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal to save
And now we
that.
can just consistently feed that bank account knowing that the fee is so low.
Right? Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah. So financials in place. We have the ability to transfer cash to ourselves um, without any problem. Now the transfers are supposed to go through in a matter of minutes. It did take about 2 hours for it to go
Okay.
through. Now that was the first one. Maybe it was just the first establishment for it to
Mm-hmm.
allow. But I checked the Colombian bank and it showed everything over there
That's so cool
without
that
any
now
fees
we
on their
can,
end either for
yeah,
receiving it.
just take money out of the bank account while we're there.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool.
So okay, cool. Well, okay, I think our I think our focus issue is when I make you live. Because when I see you live, it is, and when I see you not live, it's not. So we just got to deal with it, I guess. Okay, financials. Okay, health and safety. Bring us through that. What do we got going on for health and safety?
So thank you. I talked earlier about medical appointments. So you and I both, well, I know I have to have a blood draw. So we need to see where I am at, is find if my prescription needs to be lowered, which after losing 25 pounds, I'm hopeful that I can lower my prescription for my thyroid
There we
medication,
go.
but
Yeah, I was going to
we
say,
just got
explain
to
a little.
make
Yeah,
sure that we have our 90 days supply of whatever we need, even if that's supplements to any medications, like whatever it might be. So yeah, so we have that to do as well. So that's got to be done. I have a dental appointment. So yeah, just stuff,
yeah,
just stuff that you have to do. And then I was also looking at trying to find a vet in Colombia or in Sabaneta, not far from where we're going to be staying, because God forbid anything happen, I want a place to be able to take her. And then also finding a place because she's going to have her nails cut. Just those. I'm scared to death to do that. I'm afraid I'll hurt her. Um,
I am too.
yeah,
She has the dark ones, and so
yeah,
you can't see where the
right.
yeah
So little things like that. Yeah. So just kind of doing some last minute stuff. And it's not a do or die like that kind of stuff. And we can do it while we're down there, but I'm a preparer. So
who you no
for something like this, I don't want to forget anything. If it's something, oh, you and I were talking about, being able to purchase like her dog food, for instance.
Right.
So we have changed her dog food. Sadie's about 5 pounds overweight. The vet checked her dog food. It's great dog food. But Colombia, they don't carry it. And he thinks that there's something going on in there where it's keeping, making her gain weight because she gets exercise, so forth and so on. So changed her over and Science Diet by, I think it's Hill.
Yeah.
Colombia carries that. And so we'll be able to get her dog food down there. That was
It's a big deal.
a big deal.
Rather than being forced to switch her to something that
Exactly.
we can start working her into it
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And just trying to see kind of like on Rappi, going to the different grocery stores, Exito, is it Corula or you would say that different in Spanish, but and that's more of like a Whole Foods. But just kind of going through there and seeing, all right, they don't carry coffee creamer there like we do here.
Yeah.
What do we get? And so for me, I can drink coffee black, but
I was
you
gonna say
love your
it's not
coffee
what are we
creamer.
gonna do, is what am I gonna do?
So
Maybe like Sadie, I needed to start like edging myself off of what I'm used to.
but are you going to enjoy your coffee then? I don't know.
I've never been one who likes the taste of coffee, just the effects.
Oh, love it.
And
It's like tequila. I can sip it. It's so good.
oh yeah, that I can like taste it in my mouth. The when you think of something sour and you
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I am with tequila. I can like taste the
So delicious.
harshness of it.
So just looking up things. So what do we have to take from here that's a non-negotiable? What can we do without? Which we've found a lot we can do without, which is really nice. Minimal trying to minimize as much as possible. Did I say that right? Minimalize as much as possible. And then what is it? Something like our toilet paper and paper towels we can get through Amazon. Bonus, because I'm going to tell you, the toilet paper we had while we were down there last time, that is a no go, my friend. I did not like that at all.
Not a fan, huh? Well,
Quite different
we
than
were
Charmin.
we were practicing stuff, right? We were kind of figuring out what is available, what does the cost look like,
Yeah,
and we found out, okay, that's why the cost was what it was. But also, now because we're going long term, we figured out a solution.
right. There's some things, most things I should say we can do without or whatever. It's not a big deal. But there are just some things where every person has their non-negotiables that
I
you
have
just
a
have to
lot.
have. You do have a lot, but
I
that's
can admit
okay.
it.
We're going to work with it. We're going to work with it.
How about family? So we're doing a combined holiday
Mhm.
break, yeah?
Yep. We're going to be doing Christmas and Thanksgiving here at the house with the kids, your mom, one big party,
Hogposh, hoshposh,
hodgepodge.
hodgepodge. I knew, I heard it in my head, but there was no way I was going to be able to enunciate it.
Didn't come out right.
No, not at all.
Oh, that happens so often to me. And a lot goes on up here, but it doesn't always make it out of my mouth. So, yep. So that's going to be happening. I know that Tessa has decided she's going to come down to Colombia in February to spend about a week with us. So that'll be fun.
Oh,
Um,
perfect. So, and knowing when folks are coming to visit helps us to decide, because we're going to get to something that we're doing while we're there, visiting another city. So it's
yes,
going to help us plan that accordingly so that we
there's a reason why.
we can focus on this visit
Mm-hmm.
and not worry about somebody's coming to visit or we have
Yep.
to send our driver to go pick them up or
Yeah.
whatever it
And
is.
Logan's going to stay here at the house. He's going to house sit for us, which is
Yep.
so nice
Yep.
to have somebody here,
And he'll be able to save money.
be able to save money.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many pluses across that, you
We're
know?
pretty excited about him staying here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so family time is really going to be important to be able to celebrate both of those holidays. And then when we get to Colombia, they celebrate Christmas all month
All
long.
month.
Lots of lights and it's going to be so I can't wait.
For content creation, that's good because we can like get photos and videos of stuff before it
Yeah,
actually happens and
happens.
schedule it and maybe
Yeah,
stay in just for actual Christmas. Who
right.
knows? We can choose.
It'll be a very quiet Christmas day
Yeah.
for us. I think they celebrate Christmas at midnight. I'm pretty sure that's
Kind of
correct.
like New
And
Year's
then
Eve.
really don't do anything Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. We'll just hang out. We'll have a pool. We'll have all kinds of stuff we can do that day if it's bright and sunny out, which it should be.
How about work stuff or anything else with family? That's pretty.
Nope. Hasta luego.
See y'all.
We love
Um,
you.
okay, work stuff. So we have a trip to New York City coming up. Um, we have our amazing photo booth attendant who has just been grinding.
Oh, she's been so great.
And I get feedback from our clients all the time talking about how professional and how sweet and how amazing and how great the photos came out. And you know me, I struggle with giving up responsibility for fear of it matching my level. I trust her completely.
It's taken you a minute, but you 100% have.
Very long minute, yeah. Um,
She's been quite patient with you.
yeah. Oh, I know.
We love Amara.
Yeah. Um, so photo booth events. She's going to be running the whole show while we're
Several,
gone.
yeah.
Let's see, New York
And
City.
oh gosh. Yes. So New York City, um, wow. Crazy time, right? Christmas is starting in New York City. It's supposed to be beautiful, be in Manhattan. This is for a courageous voice. I
Mhm.
have a conference to attend. You're going to go with me. Sadie's going to stay with Logan for a couple of days. But it just is right in the middle of everything else. So you got to pack a suitcase, hop on the plane, go, although it's only like an hour and a half flight. So I'm super happy about that.
Yeah.
Um, Greenwich Village. So it's gonna be good, I think. Lots of learning on my end to do, but it's right in the middle. I mean, it's like right before we just a couple weeks out before we leave.
So we're both believers that everything happens for a reason and nothing's given to us that we can't handle.
Well, for sure.
So this is and sometimes it's a lesson, sometimes it's a challenge and we have to grow from those
Yeah.
situations. Um like having something right in the middle of a 3 month plan for leaving for 3 months, right? But it's also going to be an opportunity. Our business, our studios, where we do SEO and
Mm-hmm.
websites, we this year made a significant commitment to give back to nonprofits.
100%.
And we have a really strong partnership with a huge nonprofit that gives to nonprofits where we can donate our time to
Yeah.
their pre-vetted nonprofits and give them a blueprint and give them a consultation at no
Mm-hmm.
cost to them.
Yeah. No
And
cost.
for us, it's a sweet spot for us. We love helping nonprofits, and if
It's important to us to be able to give
yeah, and
back.
if they can walk away with an
Yeah.
understanding of
Right.
what they need to execute on for the next 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be better off than they were.
Because nonprofits, let's be real, most don't have the funding for marketing or anything like that. So if there's
Right.
something that we can give to them, a few things for free that they can, like you said, execute on over the next 6 months to
Yep.
help their nonprofit grow, so be it. Because those are the boots on the ground folks
Yeah.
that get out and do the real work, to feed the homeless, to work with youth, um, foster care, to all kinds of things, Habitat for Humanity. Like there's just so many things that nonprofits do, but I'm talking about the smaller ones,
Yep.
the ones that
Nobody hears about,
nobody really
but
hears
they're really
about.
doing a lot of work in the back
Right.
end. And
Working with
so,
kids with disabilities,
yeah,
all that kinds of stuff.
I'll have a great opportunity to strengthen that relationship with them while we're in New York as well.
Yeah,
So
that'll be great.
that is great. It's really, and like I said, it's really important to us. And we try to figure out ways to, like with our photo booth, that's our primary vertical is nonprofits because we help them raise additional funds,
Right.
right? Our average photo booth our average client that's a nonprofit that hires us nets anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 just in additional funding because of us being there, not for any other reason. That's a big
It
deal.
is a big
You can do
deal.
a lot with an extra four to seven thousand
No kidding.
dollars,
Especially for a really small
right? And we
nonprofit.
wanted to figure out a way, how do we do that with our digital marketing company?
Yeah.
And this partnership's been huge for us to really,
It's really kind of taken its own shape, I think, because we put it out there. Like, this is
yeah,
our belief around
it's become
giving
like
back.
ingrained with
And
us.
it
Yeah,
really has taken its own shape and is proving to be a lane that we need to be in.
yeah,
So it's
it's
good.
super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our Detroit Lions, six
Woo!
and one,
Go Lions.
6-1, beating the Titans.
Yes. Titans.
The
We
Titans.
would say Titans.
And then we have Green Bay, who is number 2 in our division.
Yeah.
Um, next week. So you're probably going to hear this several weeks after the fact because we recorded this early, but um, super exciting.
They're going to make it to the Super Bowl?
So you never want to say that because that can be some bad juju out there. But if there were a year for us to do it, and if there were I mean, that's all anybody's talking about is the
Chad
Lions
is
making it.
very serious about his Lions.
So many years we've been just
I know. It's been
waiting
terrible.
and cheering and
Yeah.
buying the swag and holding our breath. And
Like
we're,
these games are on the calendar,
yeah,
both in our house and in our Google
yeah,
calendars.
it's imperative.
Yeah.
Even this weekend, I'm going up north to help pull the dock out. I only agreed because the Lions were doing a late game, so we would be back in time. If it was a 1 o'clock
Or
game,
something else.
I would have probably had to drive myself so I could come back.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So that's super
So
exciting.
we're gonna Super Bowl. We'll be able to watch the Super Bowl in Colombia.
Yes.
Yeah. There are going to be bars all over the place that are going to have this playing, by the way.
Hmm.
So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I've been seeing some feedback that the broadcast versions in Colombia are in Spanish with subtitles.
Well, maybe not. Or maybe we find,
Maybe not for Super Bowl, but for our local ones,
okay,
yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Well, we can watch it. We're taking our Apple TV.
Yeah, everything's loaded up.
Note everybody, take your Apple TV if you have one with you.
Yeah,
So you can watch stream all your shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, cool. What else we got here? I'm taking a look at our list of stuff. Acknowledge the stress and excitement. I haven't felt that stressed. I know you have with the Sadie stuff, and I don't know.
I don't know. Just in general, I think I'm more nervous about getting her through the airport and on the plane. That's my
So first is medical. Now you're going to be stressed until the day of with all
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So really working with her, training her. Listen, she's sassy, and I do not want her given any woo-woos, because she doesn't get her way, and that makes it sound like she does it all the time. She really doesn't.
She's going to pull from your energy though,
But she is
and we
going to
know
pull
that.
from my energy, so I have to work on that. And people are like, "Oh, just take the dog, it'll be fine, whatever." Like why I don't know. I don't know how many people would stress out over this, but my kids are grown, so now I have
Well,
her.
it's going to be just like anything, right? This is the first experience. Once
Mm,
that first one's done, it's going to be like clockwork.
for
We're not
sure.
going to have, but no, just not being able to
Yeah.
predict what this first one looks like is going to be,
So we're flying to Miami first,
yep,
and then the next day flying to Medellin. So at least we'll have
with an
that.
overnight. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least we'll have that initial flight to kind of gauge.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember when we were down in Carolina and she was loving that there was carpet in the hotel?
Oh my God. In South Carolina, she went berserk.
Zerk. We don't have carpet here, so that's the reason why. Like
And we're not going to have it in Colombia either.
we have this, I would call it a large rug, but for
It's an
her to get
area
the
rug.
zoomies,
Yeah.
there's no room for her. So
Yeah.
she had all carpet and just went
She went bonkers. She
bonkers.
loved it. What does that say? Do we get carpet? No.
No. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of stress or anxiety or fear about pretty much anything
I'm more
related to
excited than
this. I'm more
anything.
excited than anything.
Yeah. So what are we going to do with our mail?
Since Logan's gonna be staying here,
Yep.
Mail will come here. He'll be required to
Required.
yeah, it's gonna be on the blackboard. He'll be required to sift through it. He'll know what he's looking for,
Yeah.
because we do have a couple clients that pay by check.
So he'll go deposit those in the
He'll
bank for
deposit those
us.
into the bank.
Yeah.
Everything else will just go in a basket, and it'll just be this huge pile of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll obviously have to keep an eye on our emails to see if anything that he misses,
hmm
but it should be relatively
Well,
streamlined.
I told him when we would FaceTime together that we could kind of go through the mail together and see, you know, go through it that way because I didn't want a huge stack.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit closer. Yeah,
Oh, let me pull this
yeah,
card. I
that's
had to sit
perfect.
back.
Um, right, we don't know. He can definitely get rid of the junk that's unnecessary, but what we don't want is something that is a check to accidentally get put in the junk pile or thrown away. or in the open later pile. So we do
Yeah,
have to keep an eye on and you have the scanning thing where you get a image
I
of our mail that
do.
comes through.
Yeah,
So we'll
yeah,
know this week a check from XYZ company is
yeah.
coming in so he can keep an eye on
I
it.
signed up for that with the postal service, so they scan all of our mail, so I know exactly what's coming
Right.
in.
So that'll help give us a little bit of
Yeah,
a heads up.
yeah. So I don't know. This is gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hate that you have to deal with all the suitcases and stuff at the airport where I'm having to take care of Sadie. I think I'll be able to help with one, but
No, you can do just your
it's
backpack.
the final countdown.
Yeah, honestly, like I was stressed in the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have 5 bags I have to deal with. But the reality is, when you go someplace for 3 months, no matter what, unless you're shipping it,
Yeah,
that's just the reality.
right.
And we're just going to check everything because with Delta, all our bags will be free to check, and then with our American, half of our bags will be free to check.
Yep.
And so, it's not even like it's going to cost us a fortune to do that. So just take advantage of the options that we have, and pitter patter.
Y-
Let's get at her.
So it's fall here, like all the leaves are falling off. It's definitely
Yeah,
colder here in Michigan. So I think come the end of November, probably a week out, we're really going to be ready for warmer weather.
yeah.
It'll be
And
nice.
for I would venture to say our final episode before we're in Colombia, we're gonna do one more, not a test pack, but we're gonna document our pack and um,
Oh, yeah,
go over
I
some
wanted to
final
do that.
details and stuff, right?
I
So
wanted to do that.
that's what we'll have next. But then after that, our next episode's gonna be
In Colombia.
in Colombia.
Yeah.
It's
So
exciting.
we didn't talk about El Retiro.
And so, yes, tell us
Okay.
about that.
So you have wanted countryside living from the get go. That if we love it down there, after 3 months of staying there, we were going to consider doing what?
We were going to consider, oh, potentially going for longer term and maybe even investing in a property.
Right. So where
I've
would that be?
struggled with the concept of investing in a property that's part of a high rise. Staying there
Yeah.
temporarily, staying there for a rental, okay, it is what it is. But I've never been city folk. Suburb folks, the best I've ever been. But I've always been more space, quiet, drive into town because that's how I grew up. I grew up
Same
I
up on a
grew up
mountain.
in the middle of a cornfield where our across the street was a neighbor, and then it was like a half mile down our next neighbor.
How far
Dirt
from the
road.
store?
Our closest store, not close. Like
20 minutes, maybe 15
it
minutes.
was it was planned anytime we had to go anywhere.
100%. Yeah. So the grocery days or whatever. Same with me.
You can't just forget something and have
We
to just
were
turn around and go.
yeah, a mile up on a mountain. Yeah. The grocery store wasn't that far per se, but um it wasn't walkable by any means. Like it still took us 10 minutes probably to get there.
Now, in
The
middle
mall.
school, they started developing around us, and all of it turned into suburbia hell. It was just houses
Yeah.
everywhere.
I didn't even
And
have
then a
a middle
Kroger was
school.
a mile down the road. But previous to that, we had to go maybe 4 miles in, 5 miles in to get to a grocery store, the video
Same.
store, the Chinese restaurant, and there
Video
was a small
store.
mall. Yeah.
We didn't even have a video
And it
store.
wasn't block, it was like the local place with like the corner with the adult stuff with the curtain
Oh
behind it.
god.
Like
Wrong kind of video store.
not even Blockbuster. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like before franchise.
Wow.
And just diving into like nostalgia right now. Twice a month, we would go and get a video, order a pizza, and we could have pop because that was the day mom needed my sister and I to just be out of her hair because she
Yeah.
would do
The bills.
bills.
Yeah. Bill time.
Pull out the folding table. She'd sit down and do bills. She had 2.5 hours of us watching a movie and quiet and stuffed with pizza and having pop for the second time in the month and
So you got pizza and pop twice a month.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is El Retiro is not too far from Rio Negro, which is right by the airport or right near the airport.
Hmm.
And I started looking at this
Other side of the
little
mountaintop, right?
town,
You go up the mountain, then it's just
sort
over.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started looking at this place months ago because I knew you just didn't want to be in the city. And I don't think the older we get, the quieter we want our lives to be. Although I love Sabaneta. So started looking at this place. I mean, it is beautiful. It is your small pueblo style little city. Lots of nature, waterfalls. Um, so anyway, they don't have a lot for sale there. Houses.
Right.
And you want a pool and all this. Not to say that we couldn't buy a place and put one in. So anyway, I 2 days ago was watching a video, and there pops this guy, and it was only a 3 month old video. So that was the bonus, is that it was recent.
Yep.
And he was showing these apartments. You took one look at them with all the amenities. There's horses across the road. There's almost no traffic. It was crazy. And the little town had its like the Spanish style Central Park area with a fountain and places to sit and restaurants kind of around it, but it's not busy like Sabaneta, definitely not as busy as Medellin.
Right.
So it's a lot slower paced. Still had really cool little stores you could go
It
into.
was like one car pass a minute. Like it was
It was
quiet. It
really
was not
quiet, and it's a
congested.
huge woodworking furniture town,
Yeah.
which that's stuff I love buying local, right? And I just fell in love with this place. So we're going to go visit and stay there for a few days while we're there and
Yep.
test it out and see. And
And also, we checked out like the Google aerial view of
yeah,
the um, complex, the whatever, where those apartments you were talking about were.
it's crazy cool.
And it was under development from the Google view, but we don't know when that was last taken. So we also want to see how developed that area is as well.
Now, yeah. Well, 3 months ago. So that video was 3 months ago. You did the aerial view, but in the video from
Right.
this guy, which thank you, whoever you are, that was great. It was really
Yeah.
wonderful. He walked from the apartments all the way down into, and it was like, I mean, it was a trek. I wouldn't walk it. I would take a 5 minute Uber ride, quite frankly, but it
And
was really cool.
well, okay. So the other part was that area had multi dwelling units. So like apartment style, multiple levels, but also standalone
Yep,
units
it did. Had both.
all in one area.
But the
So
apartments have
yeah,
two
all of it,
pools and like
all the stuff.
all the things that go along with it. And it was really quite inexpensive. So, yeah. So, El Retiro is a place where we are going to. El Retiro. Did I say that right? RET. It means the retreat.
Feels right.
Feels right. I'm still learning Spanish, still taking Spanish. I don't think that'll ever stop. It can't. So, we're excited to go see this little town and nature. And there's lots of trails and everything where we could take Sadie off leash. It's just really fantastic. So,
All right.
and that's it. That's what we're getting ready to do when we get there. Lots of fun stuff and coffee farm and just have fun. Enjoy
Awesome.
life.
Want to take us out?
I don't remember.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. That's about it, right? That's how we do
Keep
it now.
living beyond the desk.